Labor productivity statistics is published to observe and monitor performance of the country's labor productivity, that is the main driver of the economic growth. Thus, today DOSM released the Labor Productivity Statistics, first quarter 2022, measured as value added per employment and value added per hour worked. Malaysia's labor productivity per employment in the first quarter 2022 picked up 2.7% as compared to 1.7% in fourth quarter 2021. The value added per employment was 23,129 ringgit as against 24,047 ringgit recorded in the last quarter. During the quarter, Malaysia's economy soared 5.0% from 3.6%, supported by stronger domestic demand. In line with the expansion of the economy, employment grew 2.2% against 1.8% in the previous quarter, to register a total of 15.6 million employed persons. In the meantime, labor productivity as measured by value added per hour worked was subdued at 0.3% after recording 1.3% in the preceding quarter. Value added per hour worked in this quarter amounted to 40 ringgit per hour. Total hours worked in the first quarter 2022 increased 4.6% as compared to 2.3% in fourth quarter 2021, recording a total of 8.9 billion hours, reflecting longer business operation hours during the quarter. Next, the labor productivity performance from the economic sector point of view. Labor productivity per employment in agriculture sector went up 1.0% as against 2.9% in the preceding quarter. Employment in this sector decreased 0.8%. In the meantime, labor productivity by hours worked decreased marginally at 0.2%. Value added per employment in this sector was 12,192 ringgit, while value added per hour worked was 23 ringgit per hour. Labor productivity by value added per employment for mining and quarrying sector decreased at a slower rate of 3.6% as against negative 10.5% registered in the previous quarter. Likewise, labor productivity by hours worked recorded a slower decline of 4.8% as compared to negative 9.1% in the preceding quarter. Level of labor productivity per employment in this sector was 317,500 ringgit, while labor productivity per hour worked was 531 ringgit per hour. Labor productivity as measured by value added per employment for manufacturing sector increased 2.8% after registering 5.3% in fourth quarter 2021. Likewise, labor productivity per hour worked decreased marginally at 0.1% from 4.6% in the preceding quarter. Level of labor productivity in the first quarter 2022 as measured by value added per employment was 32,270 ringgit, while in terms of hours worked amounted to 55 ringgit per hour. As for the construction sector, the labor productivity expressed as value added per employment declined 5.5% as against negative 11.2% in the previous quarter. In the meantime, labor productivity per hour worked also trend down with a negative 8.2%. Level of labor productivity per employment was 9,351 ringgit, while labor productivity per hour worked recorded 16 ringgit per hour. Measuring labor productivity per employment for services sector, grew 3.6% as against 1.1% in the previous quarter. On the other hand, labor productivity per hour worked increased 1.2% after registering 0.8% in fourth quarter 2021. In terms of labor productivity level, value added per employment was 21,918 ringgit. Meanwhile, value added per hour worked in first quarter 2022 for services sector was 38 ringgit per hour. For the first time, today DOSM released labor productivity statistics in term of index calculated by dividing the index of output by the index of input, of employment and hours worked. Currently, only United States of America and United Kingdom had released their labor productivity statistics for the first quarter of 2022. Labor productivity per hour worked for the United States of America decreased marginally 0.6% as against 1.9% in the previous quarter, while the average hours worked was 32.5 hours per week. Meanwhile, labor productivity per hour worked in the United Kingdom decreased 0.8% after recorded 0.7% in the preceding quarter. Labor productivity per employment increased 7.4% from 5.5% in fourth quarter 2021. More statistics on economy and social areas can be accessed from DOSM official website. Additionally, find out more about Malaysia's labor market situation, enriched with interactive data visualization, infographics and video graphics from Malaysia Labor Market Interactive Data, My LMID portal.